Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Coaching Youth Hoops Podcast.
They're playing basketball.
Here's our hosts, Steve Collins, and Bill Flitter.
All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops.
Coach,
how are you?
I'm good.
I know.
I'm in one of my favorite cities today.
I know. It's funny because
filming on location.
We are filming on location, but we're not techie enough to figure out how to do it in the same spot. So he's in a different room than I am.
But we're literally in the same apartment.
Complex. We're 20 feet from each other. But anyway, it's okay. I can't hear you. So that's good.
This is a Coaching Youth Hoops first.
It is a first. We didn't do it last time we met to do.
No, we didn't do any podcasts together.
I know.
In the same place.
We were worrying about other things. Which we'll talk about. We should talk about we should talk about that too at some point. What we're talking about. But let's give a big shout out
to our sponsor,
yes.
Game Changer. Coaches, go check out gc.com/coaching youth hoops. You will not be disappointed. If you're a basketball coach and love numbers, Game Changer is your answer. It will give you game insights like no other. Plus, parents, grandparents, whomever who can't be at the game can see their favorite player live.
I know.
Go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops for more information.
And then we have a couple things too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, we hear a lot about coaches. When do they do their planning? They do their planning. The survey results show that most coaches are planning now. They're looking at things to do and implement. So, I highly encourage you. We've done all the planning for you. Go to coachingyouthhoops.com. You have a full season of practice plans plus other resources. Just one download click away, and you have your whole season planned out for you. It has taken us years of experience, time on our own, lost hair, good drills, bad drills. We narrowed it down to just the good drills. So again, coachingyouthhoops.com, and click on the link that says get started, and you can build your own practice plan from there based on our experience.
Okay. So before we get into today's topic, I think you should talk about what we're doing a little bit.
Yeah. So Coach and I are met in Chicago.
The windy city.
Yeah. He had a short 6-hour train ride, and I had a 4-hour flight. Anyway, we decided to meet here, one of our favorite places. But we have a new project going on, and our hope is. Well, let me back up. Our mission has always been the same, which is to positively influence 1 million kids in the next 10 years. And we identified some problems in youth sports and in youth basketball in particular. And we are solving some of those issues. This one in particular, we're going to keep it under wraps for just a little bit longer, but it's something pretty exciting that we're working on that will have a big impact for parents and to help them reduce costs for youth sports, because that is one of the things that is rising for parents is the cost of sports, and it's keeping kids from not being able to participate. Right. When after you see the stock market drop the last 2 days, you might be making a decision of what to cut. So anyway, stay tuned for more information.
Can they find more information? Or are we teasing? We're really teasing.
We're just teasing. Big tease. Yeah,
big tease. Right now. Okay. So today's topic, talking about camps a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're talking about camps. It's coming up into camp season, right? And I'm sure you're probably thinking about how do you structure a youth basketball camp, and what are the most important things to teach? Do you do stations that, they're rotating from one station to another? How do you break it out where there's like a head coach who says, okay, now we're going to work on layups. So every small group is working on layups. I don't know. How do you usually structure your camps?
Okay, so there's a couple things. I think, so I'll go through the kind of my category. And so I look to the side here. I'm looking at my notes a little bit. But first thing is I structure, busyness is important. Like they got to be doing something. I hate camps where they're not doing and they're not standing. Either they're not using their brains or they're not using their feet or arms.
I hate practices that way too.
I do. Anything you do with anything, I don't like that. So structure is important. At the youth level, there's a couple things. I want to do skill work. So I want to work on fundamentals. I know some people think that's horrible, but it's like you can't do calculus until you can add. You have to add before you can do calculus. So we got to work on some fundamental things. I want to incorporate that. I want to incorporate them building their basketball knowledge on their own. So I want some small-sided game. I want things where they read and are able to learn. Some of that is in station work. Some of it isn't in station work, depending on what my stations look like. If it's my assistant coaches versus maybe my juniors or seniors, there are different levels of ability there, obviously, as far as being able to correct and to move them down the right direction. So I always like to have some of those things. I love games. And the games probably are more like the fun games, like dribble tag, are more at the younger youth level than the higher youth level. And then as you move up the youth level, the games can be more like we're going to do, 3-on-3 continuous. We're going to do things where they can compete against each other and use the fundamentals and the development of their own skills to read things. And we'll do that at levels in which we'll do first levels where we'll do some of that, and we'll do stoppage and startage of play. So we'll mix them, and then we'll just let them go as far as some of those fun games and stuff. But all of those pieces, I think, are important when you're building a camp and having it mapped out. It's like a lesson plan. You better have a good practice plan, like a practice plan. You better have a really good practice plan if you want to make it work.
Well, and I one of the things I remember you always saying too is have a plan B, just in case that drill just isn't working, right, in the camp situation, or depending on how many players you have, right? So always have, like, for that hour, or I'm sorry, for that drill section, maybe it's 8 to 10 minutes, you have your primary, but just in case you have a secondary drill as a backup.
Well, and I tell teachers this, I tell people that have student teachers, I said, if you have a 55-minute class or a 2-hour practice, if I have a 55-minute stats class, I'm going to have an hour and a half worth of material ready to go, because I never know. But I can always do it the next day. And it's the same thing with camp. If you have a 2-hour camp, you better have almost 4 hours worth of stuff, because some stuff's not going to work unless you've done it. Now, I kind of know what works. I've done it long enough that I kind of know. But they're still like, whoa, this group can't do this.
It's the variable is the group.
Is the group. Right? Is the group. And I've done it long enough. I can go from A to C pretty quick, but there's still an influx of, oh shoot, I gotta move from A to C. It's gonna take a couple minutes. We gotta regroup, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden I lost 5-10 minutes, and now I'm like, or they get it so fast that they're bored with this and I'm losing them. I got to pivot. Yeah, I think that's a big thing of
it. And the structure itself, length, what do you think the ideal length is for, again, we're talking eighth grade and below, and the idea of, do you have stations, or is the head coach saying, okay, now we're gonna work on 3-on-3, and then all 6 baskets are just doing 3-on-3?
I think you do both, because sometimes it's good for them to, I do a pretty good lesson on free throw shooting, so I gather them all together, do the lesson on free throw shooting, which lasts 5 minutes, about routine, about some of them don't even know there's a nail on the floor in a good gym thing in the middle. I just talk about, and what should you be looking at, and all those kind of things. And sometimes with the younger ages, I'll do that with shooting layups. What are you trying to do? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll show them I can throw it off the top of the board and it will go in. But if I shoot anyway, so there's some things I do lesson wise, but that's not as much. But then I'll split them off into groups doing. And again, at the older levels, I do like station work, in the sense that if I have good station workers at the basket, coaches, it's all about the basket personnel, because it's so much better, because you can be progressive on what you're teaching. Maybe if you're doing maybe small, so you can go from 1-on-1, 2-on-2 to 3-on, or something, or maybe you're working on pivots, or you're working on something like that. It's an effect. I mean, there's a reason people still do it. I think it's really effective. It's not one of those things that I think needs to go away, but it is only as strong as the basket leader.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Right. And how technical they are in teaching,
and how technical they're good. And part of it is I'm teaching my guys. So at my camp, it's my high school guys tend to work most of the baskets, which is good, because then I strategically put, this kid needs work on post moves. I'm going to put him in charge of teaching post moves. Right. So the best way to learn something is to teach someone. It's like, I remember that from my education classes. One of the first things I learned in one of my education, we had to teach the class a card game they didn't know. Had to teach, like, it was, 30 years ago, but it's like, that's hard. If you don't, you have to know it really well to be able to teach it to everyone so that they can play it. So it's a hard task. But then I think I taught euchre, which I played euchre my entire life, but you don't forget things like that you learn.
Right.
Anyway.
I use a lot of my players too. I even will use my 8th graders to teach the 3rd graders. And you can see that they're a lot more technical when they're teaching it. So that tells me, okay, they know the material, right? I really enjoy watching them, because they love it. It motivates them as well. And they realize, oh yeah, I remember when I was, or a lot of them will say, Coach, you've been coaching me for a long time. Was I like that? I'm like, yep.
Yep, you were.
You were, right? Yeah, you were.
It's empathy.
Yeah. And then they learn a lesson, right?
Right.
Let's talk about length. So length, there's 2 pieces to this. So length of a camp,
no more than a
from
couple
start
hours.
to finish, 3 hours max.
Yeah, max. I think 3.5 is long, especially but the younger ages. I think 2 is the max.
I mean, if you're doing like kindergarten age, 1st grade, 1.5 hours.
Yeah. Yes.
And then 3rd,
it's herding cats at that age. It's herding cats, basically.
Maybe 3rd and 4th, or 3rd and up. We do 2.5.
We do 2. I think we do 2.5. I mean, I got to remember in our camp, but I think the younger ages is a couple hours. And then I think we get to 3 hours by the time they're in 7th and 8th. But even after, I mean, if they're working hard, 3 hours is a long time. Like,
yeah.
I know the parents wish it lasted all day so they could just drop them off at 7 and pick them up at 4. But I don't think that's a constructive way of teaching them either, though.
And then what about length of the station drill work?
Oh, that's less 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. I'd rather do more stations. So we tend to do offensive station, defensive station, game station. I mean, yes, you got to keep them moving. and it keeps the kids in, so if it's 5 minutes and there's 6 baskets, they're doing it for half an hour. The basket people are. So it's like, you don't want more than that as far as keeping them engaged, I think.
And then the personnel that you have. So let's say it's a multi-day camp, right? Meaning, it's a summer, you're in the summer and you're going 9 to noon, right? And then maybe the second session comes in from noon to 3, right?
Yep.
And you split it up that way. Are you rotating the staff from camp to camp, rotating them to a different station?
But we also don't. I don't like if we do youngs in the morning and older kids in the afternoon. I make them come to one session because they're just better if I don't make them stay the whole time. I do rotations. I like them to get good at a basket. We only go 4 days too. We only do Monday through Thursday because I think Fridays summer I think it's better focus. But I have found because, and again, there's exceptions. There's kids that want to stay all day, and they tend to be really good, because they want to do it or they want to be a coach. That's great. But most of them, their attention, even the counselors, it's not. No.
Low energy, unfocused, foggy. You might be dehydrated. Gatorade Zero powders have been scientifically designed to help improve hydration balance in the body. With a clinically proven electrolyte blend and no artificial colors or flavors. Great tasting hydration no matter where you're going. Shop now online or at retailers nationwide. Gatorade, hydrates better than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
You do this, and I strategically pick this kid's going to be better with younger kids. This one's going to be better with older.
Right. So that's a good point.
I know their personalities.
Exactly. No, that's a really good point. And what about when you're thinking about the makeup of a camp itself? You kind of hinted at it a little bit. But are you thinking about it from a game perspective?
Yeah, so I do a lot of different. And there's different camps I'll run. I'll do an offensive skills camp. I'll do a defensive skills camp. I'll do a camp that I talk about a little bit of everything. I will do a games camp. I've done games camp. The kids love games.
What is that?
That's where we play games. Like we work on game skill things like offensive stuff, and then they play. It's and they break up into teams and the kids coach them, and it tends to be a little shorter camp, but it's a couple hours. First 45 minutes is working on how do you run a motion offense? What does defense look like? Blah blah blah, and then they play for a really long time, and we break them up into we tend to do Monday tends to be the lesson. Here we go. And then we'll do day 2. We'll have the counselors draft because they'll kind of know the players. So that balances them out, the teams out. And then we'll have A plays B, and the kids will officiate. And they love it. I mean, first of all, they want to play games anyway. So
right. That's all they want to do.
That's all they want to do anyway. But it's just a nice change up. And to work on some of those skills anyway. So
because that's a really good idea because just learning the skill, but then what's the application of that in a game situation? The one thing that I do, and I actually do this, and I've implemented it as a staple now into my practices, but at every camp we do it, some sort of whatever you want to do size-wise, but 3-on-3, no dribble. Because what that brings out, you can think about it, you can't dribble. So what do you have to do? You got to work on learning how to get open, right? So we work on, because it's not just, we're just going to let them play and try to get open. We'll let them play, teach, let them play, teach, right? So that tends to be a little bit longer session than the 5 minutes you're talking about. And that's everybody in the gym is kind of would be doing that at the same time. We'll go maybe 15 minutes with that, but we're stopping teaching. And I always, I instruct the kids how to do it. Like it's a 30-second timeout fix. The kids meaning the other, or the teachers, right? The coaches, and the fix, let them play. Fix, let them play for a few minutes, right? It's kind of this back and forth. So that way you're learning a lot.
So one of the big things for me is like most camps, like the generic camp, the camp I'm teaching, I want it to be fun. I want to work on shooting, and I want to work on dribbling. Those are the big.
So like if you were if that was the only thing that you could do and had time for, obviously make sure it's fun.
So it's some sort of game thing. I don't know if it's playing. Fun for the older guys is playing 5-on-5. That's fun for them, kind of thing. Anyway, but fun, dribbling, shooting. Not in that necessarily in that order. It would probably go shooting. It would go fun, obviously, but then it would go shooting and then dribbling.
Yeah,
and the higher priority for me.
What I typically do is we'll do, depending on the intensity of the drill. I keep them 5 to 8 minutes and then move on. We'll do 2 to 3 of those and stop for a fun activity. And I make sure throughout my camp, every 3 or 4 drills, so that's every half hour, 45 minutes ish, right? We're stopping and doing something quote unquote fun, right? Where they're still learning basketball skills, but at the same time, it's an activity that breaks the drill type, right? Pac-Man.
I love that. I love it. Dribble drive, dribble tag, all that stuff.
Dribble tag, exactly.
All right. Anything else, Coach?
Coaches. We are launching a new podcast. We're diving into the business of youth sports. We're taking a kind of behind the scenes look at the innovators making a difference.
It's going to be awesome, actually. I'm super excited about it.
We have a number of great speakers coming up in the queue. And I would get on that list, go to youthsportsinsider.com. We have what would I say? A goat, a whale coming up in
we got podcast. A big one. We're just going to tease it. Someone is like, oh my gosh, yes. So give that URL again. You're going to want to get on this. It's great to talk. Yeah.
So if you're an operator, if you're a gym owner, a tournament director, you're an AD, you run a program, these guys are going to help you make it better, run it better, make more money, right, etc. So go to youthsportsinsider.com. Youthsportsinsider.com.
All right, we'll put that on the show notes. All right, I'll see you next week, but I'm going to see you in about 5
when we're
minutes.
done here. Yeah,
we're going to go eat. All right, bye.